Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Gaurav and today we are going to talk about something a lot of homeowners are thinking about right now. Well, they're trying to decide whether 2026 is the right time to sell or lease their current home, upgrade and move into a better home that actually fits where their life is going. This video is for you if you already own a place and you are starting to outgrow it. Maybe because of space, maybe because of family, or maybe your lifestyle or work situation has changed. And you're trying to figure out whether moving now is a smart decision or whether you should hold off. When I talk to homeowners about upgrading, the first thing that comes up is always the old number, the price they think they missed. They remember what their home could have sold for a few years ago, and that number becomes the benchmark in their head, even though this is not the same market anymore. So the decision becomes emotional instead of a practical one. But here's the key thing to remember. You're not selling just to cash out, you're selling to move into a better home, which means you have to look at the sell and the buy together. If you look at only your sale price in isolation, you can talk yourself out of a move that actually makes sense. So here's how we are going to approach this. We're going to treat upgrading as two decisions happening at the same time. You're selling your current home and you're buying your next home. The only way to judge whether upgrading is a smart move is to look at the gap between those two moves and what that gap feels like on a monthly basis. Not just what you can sell your current home for on its own. Instead of asking, am I selling at the perfect time? The better question is, does upgrading improve my position overall, even if the market stays a little weak and a little uncertain through 2026? Because that is the macro reality right now. This economy doesn't feel like a clean boom environment. People are cautious. Jobs feel less certain than they did during the post-pandemic surge. Buyers are way more sensitive to monthly payments than they were when rates were lower. That usually means the market will move slower. Negotiations will matter more, and impatience is not going to get rewarded. And that is exactly why upgrading can actually be easier in a year like this, as long as you're not forcing a huge loss on the home you already own. Let me walk you through the three situations that I see most often. The first situation is the simplest. If you are sitting on profit, meaning you bought early enough that you still have a healthy cushion of equity, then upgrading in 2026 can make a lot of sense because you get leverage as a buyer again. In the last boom cycle, upgrading was exhausting because you would sell and then immediately feel the pressure to overpay, remove conditions, and make decisions in a rush. And that is not a great way to buy a home that you're going to live in for years. In a more stable market, you get something that people never price properly, which is time. You can see more homes. You can walk away when something does not feel right. You can negotiate price and terms instead of taking whatever is in front of you. So if you're sitting on profits and you already know you want to upgrade within the next couple of years, 2026 can be a really good window to do it. The second situation is where people overthink themselves into doing nothing. If you're looking at your home and thinking it is not at peak anymore and you might break even or even take a small loss, I want you to zoom out for a second because upgrading is not about getting the perfect sale price in isolation. It is about the full move, and the full move includes what you are able to buy on the other side. In this kind of market, homes are not as costly as they were before, and that matters a lot if you're trading up. If your current home is down a bit from where it was, there is a good chance the home you want is also down. And once you move into better locations or better property types, that difference can get even more meaningful. So you might give up some number on the sale, but you can gain a bigger number on the purchase, and that is what improves the gap. And the advantage is not only price, it is also how the deal comes together. You can negotiate the terms and structure a closing that fits your timeline. This is a buyer-focused market, so you can protect yourself with conditions when you need them. You can push back on obvious issues instead of absorbing them, and that is the kind of leverage that helps you make a smarter upgrade now. Now, if you live further away from Toronto, then there is another angle here that people underestimate. With work from home slowly going away for a lot of companies, commute is coming back as a real cost again, both financially and mentally. If you can move closer to Toronto, you're not just buying a house, you're buying back time and you're reducing daily stress. That has a value even if it does not show up on your mortgage statement. Historically, when markets improve, the areas closer to Toronto usually feel it first, and the areas farther away follow later. So if your plan is to eventually move closer, waiting can actually work against you because the property you want closer to Toronto may start moving up in price before the one you own, which is farther out, does. does. In other words, your home's price might not rise first, and the homes closer to Toronto would rise first, and that makes upgrading at a future date even harder. So the practical way to look at it is this: if the loss on your current home is small and manageable, and you are moving into a location that you know you will want long term, then upgrading in 2026 can be a very smart move. The mistake is judging it only by the sale price and ignoring what you're gaining on the buy side and what you're gaining in time and peace of mind if you shorten your commute. Now, the third situation is the one where I actually want you to slow down. If selling your current home means taking a large loss, then this is where I want you to slow down. And I'm not talking about taking a small hit that you can absorb and move on from. I mean a real loss that eats into your down payment, wipes out your buffer, or pushes your monthly payment to a level where your life starts feeling difficult every single month. If that is the situation, forcing an upgrade is usually not the right move because you end up upgrading the home but downgrading your financial position. And that is not worth it unless there is a strong life reason behind the move, like you genuinely need the space now, or you have a major commute change, or something in your life has shifted and waiting is not realistic for you. This is also where the lease and upgrade option becomes interesting. In the right situation, keeping your current place, renting it out, and buying the next home lets you avoid locking in a big loss today. You keep the asset, you let time do its work, and you still move into a home that fits your life now. But this only works when the numbers feel comfortable, and the only way to know that is to actually map out the full move properly, not just rough math in your head. That is why in one of my upcoming videos, I'm going to walk you through a listing and upgrading calculator that shows every cost on both sides, like selling cost, buying cost, and shows you what your true monthly payment looks like after everything. If you're interested in that calculator, then make sure you subscribe so you know when that video is released. Now, back to the lease and upgrade idea. Now, you would need to qualify while carrying both mortgages, and you need to be able to handle the monthly numbers even when things are not perfect. Sometimes a tenant leaves and you have a gap month. Sometimes something breaks. Sometimes the rent is a bit lower than you expected. If those things happen and you can still carry the property without stress, then leasing and upgrading can be a very strong move. If those things happen and you feel trapped, then upgrading is certainly not the right strategy. The simplest filter that I can give you here is this: do not judge your plan by the best case month, judge it by the worst realistic month. The best case month is when your sale lines up perfectly, your purchase is smooth, nothing breaks, and your moving costs are fine and everything feels awesome and easy. The worst realistic month is when your home takes longer to sell, you have overlapping costs, you spend a bit more than you planned, and your monthly payment is still higher than what you calculated. If your upgrade plan still feels fine in the worst realistic month, then you're making a solid decision. If your upgrade plan only works when everything goes perfectly, then you're not really choosing a plan. You're hoping that things might go your way, which might not be the best choice. So here's a simple way to wrap this up. If you're sitting on profits, upgrading in 2026 can be a strong move because you are stepping into the next purchase with more leverage than you would have had when the market was more bullish. If your current home is not at the peak and you might take a small hit, upgrading can still make sense because what matters is the gap, and in many cases you can make that loss back on the buy side because the next home would be priced more reasonably. Now, if selling means taking a large loss, then that is where you slow down. Either you look at leasing your current place and upgrading, or you wait until the numbers look a little better, because you do not want to upgrade the home and squeeze your life at the same time. If you want to talk through your exact situation, I have a book call link in the description. We can map this out with your actual numbers, your realistic sale price, your realistic purchase price range, the costs on both sides, and what the monthly payment will look for you after everything. Once you see that clearly, then the decision can be based on numbers and logic. Hope you found the video helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.